Hello, my name is Blake Madril, Senior Industry Advisor at Ideas Revenue Solutions. And my primary focus is to help our clients, global hospitality and travel organizations from around the world, better uncover and prioritize new revenue opportunities across their business. And one of the questions I'm most often posed with is how an organization can better prepare for times of uncertainty with their revenue management solution, and specifically economic uncertainty like a downturn or a recession. And the advice I often give people is that the focus should not be to prepare on predicting exactly what will happen, but rather predicting what can happen and preparing for all those possible outcomes. And one way a revenue management solution does that is through leveraging your own data. We know hotels have no shortage of data that they have available to look at to make better decisions. The challenge is that data can quickly become overwhelming and create that analysis paralysis area you see here on this visualization in the information overload zone. And in times of uncertainty, data can become that much more important because we may have access to less data. If there's less demand in the market, there may be less demand data available to us. So the decisions we make based off data have to become that much more important. One, because there may be less data to look at, and two, because we also have to anticipate those changes earlier, quicker, and before the competition does in a market that may be uncertain at the moment. So one way we look at doing that is by bringing in the right and most relevant data directly into your revenue management solution and creating that single source of truth for you. Now, we see many different types of technology platforms represented here, and Ideas integrates to several dozens of vendors across these different platforms. But the key is also not to just display that data and bring it together, it's also to fold that into the optimization of your business. So in the case of something like rate shopping data, it's not just pulling that data and making it available to the user through displays, or even ensuring that you're the average or the lowest priced in the market in uncertain times, but also that you're monitoring when pricing changes are made by the competition against your own booking behavior or pace. And that gives you an understanding of price sensitivities that exist in the market and how the competition is either taking advantage of those or missing out on them. So that can become very powerful in times of uncertainty when you need that extra layer of insight to help you make a pricing decision in this case. Number two is really to make sure that your revenue management system is working for you. So a revenue management system shouldn't simply be a set it and forget it type of rules-based system, but it should really be about building upon the foresight that we're able to gain through forecasts, through our historical data, and creating what, as I mentioned, what are the best possible outcomes. And to do that, you must understand all those possible outcomes. So looking here, we've talked about how historical data can help us. There's performance data available in the market like STR reporting, but starting to get into forward-looking data sets like rate shopping data, demand intelligence, and other sets of data that you naturally may end up having to look at during times of economic uncertainty really help you bolster that strategy. But layering them into an automated tool is what gives you the greatest benefit or return on that investment, because you're able to then go out and execute on what that optimal strategy could be, even in times of uncertainty. So one way that this translates over into the revenue management system is something like a booking pace visualization, which you can see here. So this is comparing any given time to that same time period last week or a similar day of week. And really we're now not just looking at how days actualized, but how they took the journey to get to that point. And how is that different than, say, last year or whatever comparison period we're looking at. And this green line along the top of the graph here also illustrates our forecast optimization that's changing daily. So as the system learns new information about the business that's materializing, it adapts that forecast to give the user more insight into what they can expect in terms of business performance. And the third tip I'm going to leave you with is to start these initiatives sooner than later. So you can see many examples here on screen of data that can be leveraged within the revenue management system and what those business outputs are that drives optimal business along the right-hand side. But even if you work in a manual environment, you do a lot of these things today, but we don't think about how we can anticipate different scenarios to help us plan better for uncertain times into the future. And one way that we know hotels are starting to do this is to really think about profitability and not just overall revenue performance, but total profitability performance. So a revenue management solution is a great way to help you start to understand that by tracking your acquisition costs, so you can better understand what performance by channel looks like in terms of profitability. Just one example of the many ways you can start to create a more robust revenue strategy, especially as things like profitability become that much more pertinent in times of economic uncertainty. So it's about creating certainty in uncertain times, giving you the confidence to take that next step forward, to test different scenarios, and really build out a strategy that allows you to adapt as the market continues to change and evolve. And a revenue management solution is a great tool to do that. So if you want to learn about new ways that you can leverage ideas to help you in times of economic uncertainty, please reach out to your local representative and we'll be happy to help. Have a good day. Thank you.